right? Otherwise, right, please feel free to ask questions, right? Please feel free to ask questions. Stop me and ask questions, right? So if you are good in basics, especially this subject, if you are very good with basics, then the remaining higher actually what aspects you can study on your own. If you are not good in basics, then nothing will happen, right? So that's why. So good morning and welcome to yet another online tutorial on microwaves and antennas. So we are in module 3, right? And we were discussing about radiation patterns. So today our agenda, right, what we are planning to do is we'll be trying to visualize various radiation patterns. So many students I know have still not clear what actually is this radiation pattern. So even though I told, right, it will give you in which and all direction an antenna will radiate, right, and you keep the antenna at origin and move along a sphere with some measuring instrument, measure field intensity or power and plot it as a function of theta and phi and all. Even then, right, I was already telling, so if we can visualize it, I think that would be more than sufficient, right? So what this radiation pattern is nothing but what it's a function of theta and phi. That's it. And most of the time, for our fortune, right, it will be function of theta alone. Why? Because it will be symmetric with respect to phi in most of the examples which we consider. Right, there will be some symmetry involved. Right, so it will be a function of theta and phi, and most of the time, actually, what the fields which we'll encounter are of this kind, except for some examples. Right, we'll discuss more examples. That also was right. One comment. I should discuss more examples. I'll try to discuss more examples. Right. So these are examples of radiation pattern. Some functions of theta, but it's actually what three-dimensional pattern. Right. If you place antenna at origin or of a spherical coordinate system, right? How the antenna radiation varies with respect to theta and phi, right? In all these cases, the radiation pattern is symmetric with respect to phi, right? So field pattern is given, field pattern, right? For these field patterns, we'll try to see how it looks like, right? Then I think you'll be able to probably appreciate what is radiation pattern. That is the first agenda, right? For that, we may take some 10 minutes or so, right? Then I'll solve one more problem on half power beamwidth and first null beamwidth. That is actually what E of theta is cos theta, cos 2 theta. You have to find half power beamwidth and first null beamwidth, right? And maybe the sine square theta or sine cube theta, all those steps you can try it as example. The method is same, right? The method is same. So that's why in live classes I'm not trying to, right? I will be restricting my problems to like the different types that are possible, right? Rather than number, right? I would concentrate on variance, the number of types of problems that can come, right? So we'll solve one more problem. Then a very important aspect, I think you have not studied this, the concept of solid angle, right? How we have angle in 2 dimension, right? We'll define solid angle in 3 dimension. What is that concept of solid angle? Once we study that concept of solid angle, we'll go on and define beam area or beam solid angle of an antenna and beam efficiency. That is the plan for today, right? I don't know. With 15 minutes we'll be able to finish this entire thing. At least till concept of solid angle I'll teach you today, right? So remaining part again I'll teach tomorrow. So it's not actually what agenda driven. It's content driven. In between, if you have any doubt, I would be right more than happy to address that. So that is the plan for today, right? So again, what we'll do is we'll try to visualize. Yesterday when I told right about radiation pattern, you may not have got a clear idea, but what you have to keep in mind is in 2D, as you tell f of xy, function of x and y, for instance, x square plus y square is equal to r square, that is a circle, right? And for a parabola, ellipse, straight line, right? All those are actually what functions. So similarly in 3D, these are functions of theta and phi. That's it, right? These are functions of theta and phi. So now we'll visualize, right? Some in last class we sold an example of actually what E of theta is equal to cos square theta, right? So we'll see what is this cos square theta, how it will look like in 3D, right? If you visualize that in 3D, how it will look like, and if you take a cross section of that, that is what we'll be dealing with, principal plane pattern, right? And if E of theta is cos square theta, remaining power is uh, the power pattern corresponding will be actually what square of that cos square 4 theta. So we'll try to visualize that. Yeah. What we'll do is, yeah, I'll go to, you have used this. I think Mahesh sir might have used this GeoGebra 3D calculator, right? While teaching. Oh, sorry, it got stuck. Right, give me some time. Yeah. So what I've done is, right. Like maybe I should discuss some prerequisites before that, right? So in GeoGebra, what I even you can try that, right? So prerequisites for these things are actually what you should be comfortable with spherical coordinate system, right? And you should be comfortable with actually what differential length, differential area, and all those aspects, right? So in order to visualize the say radiation pattern, right? Suppose this function of r theta phi, this is equal to cos square theta, function of r theta phi, if this is equal to cos square theta, right? In GeoGebra, right, I have different methods to actually what visualize this, plot this. But one method is actually what defining the corresponding x component, y component, and z component, right? So corresponding x component, y component, z component. So the corresponding x component, I'll call it fx or something, right? That will be equal to f of r theta phi, right? Sine theta cos phi, right? And y component will be, it's actually what spherical to Cartesian, right? X is equal to r sine theta cos phi. You have studied it already. I'm not going in deep, right? Y is equal, what was y? Y is equal to r sine theta sine phi, and z is equal to r cos theta. So instead of this r, what I'll be doing is I'll be considering this function, right? A function in spherical coordinate. I have to convert it into function in Cartesian coordinate, right? So if fr theta phi is the function, that instead of that I'll be writing actually what e theta, right? This is a we'll be writing e theta. If e theta is the function, an example what I've taken is cos square theta. How to convert it into cylinder? You don't. This is not required for your subject or for exam, right? I'm just telling you how to visualize it. Suppose if you want to what, if you have a confusion with some pattern, you want to visualize it, how to do this? That's what. If you know this, right? Some of you might be knowing this. Why? Because last time Mahesh sir might have taught you, right? Otherwise, I'm just giving you the steps. You can note it down, right? So this f of r theta phi times sine theta sine phi, right? And z component is f of r theta phi times cos theta. So this is what I should mention. If I write r is equal to cos square theta, GeoGebra cannot display that. I should write what is the x component, what is the y component, what is the z component, right? And instead of theta and phi, I'll be using actually what the various parameters t and v, right? Instead of theta and phi, I'll be using the parameters t and v, right? And t will be from 0 to pi. I'll consider t from 0 to pi, v from 0 to 2 pi, right? And no problem. This is right. Even if you don't understand this, it's not a problem, right? If you have any doubt about this, you can actually what personally ask me, or else now if you have, you can ask. But right. So this is the some prerequisite which is required for this visualization, right? Okay. Now, yeah. So what I've done is, right, I have written f of t is equal to cos square t, as it is only a function of theta, right? So f of t is cos square t. Then I've used the function surface of, right? I should define like this. This function is actually what surface of, right? Maybe that function also I'll write, right? For those who want to try out, others, right? You can actually what sleep now, not a problem, right? So for others also want to try out, that function is actually what surface of, in GeoGebra the function which I use surface of, you should write x component, y component, then z component. Then you should define the first parameter t, comma its limits 0 to pi, and then next parameter b 0 to pi 2 pi, right? So this is the function which I am using, right? So where fx will be actually what, this, fy will be this, fz will be this, and instead of fr theta comma phi, I've used f of t, right? That is what I have done. Right, those who are taking down, I can give 1 minute time to take down this. Right, this is right. If your aim is just to actually what clear exam, you don't have to bother about this. But if you really want to appreciate the concepts you learn, right, you have to try it out in with all these steps. Then, right, you will be able to clearly visualize. Right. I hope all of you have taken it down, and some of you have written my handwriting is horrible. I'm really sorry for that. Already my handwriting is horrible. Upon that, right, whenever I am writing on this, right, with this notepad, right, maybe I should go for a little bit bigger notepad. This is a 6x4 inch one which I'm using. Right, I should go for a bigger one. Then I think I can write a little bit. So I hope all of you have taken it down. Right, now we'll move on to the simulation. I hope all of you are able to see this. Right. So this is the function cos square theta. Right. So I'm keeping the antenna at origin. Right. And the antenna radiation is given by this. Right. What is the meaning of this? You can see along z-axis this antenna radiates maximum. Right. That is when theta equal to 0. Right. And as you change theta, you can see the radius, the pattern radius is decreasing. I hope you know what is pattern radius. Right. Maybe I'll make it little bit transparent. Right. So that I'll make it a bit transparent. Right. Okay. It was of, yeah. It's, I made it a bit transparent. I don't know, but how up to what extent you are able to see this. I'll just zoom it to fit. Yeah. So this is actually the cos square theta pattern. So you can see this is symmetric with respect to our this beam lobe, main beam lobe, right? So what I should do is I should take only one cut. That cut can be along zx. So if this green is x-axis and say towards the top it is z-axis, and if this is y-axis, I have to take only one cut along this zx plane, right? Along the zx plane, or right, zx plane is nothing but what I can write y equal to 0. Right, y equal to 0 if I write, right, okay, sorry, red is, right, so I can take a cut along this. So then what we'll get, you'll get a figure of 8, right, right, or else I can take a cut along x equal to 0, x equal to 0, right. So that also will be, both will be symmetrical, right, both, everything will be symmetrical. So I have to consider only one cut as it is symmetrical pattern, right, and most of the patterns which we'll consider will be symmetrical in this particular section, right. But in next module we'll see that of say uh, dipole and all, there will be a slight issues, right. Okay, so now this is cos square theta pattern. So what will be the corresponding power pattern? The maximum value here is 1. So if I increase the maximum value, right, if I write 3 cos square theta, right, 3 cos square theta, what will happen? I'll just zoom it to fit. The shape will be maintained, right, shape will be maintained, but right, now you can see the maximum radiation, maximum intensity is 3 units, right. And when you normalize it, what is meant by normalizing a radiation pattern? Normalizing a radiation pattern is nothing but what, dividing it with the maximum value. Now the maximum value is 3. If you divide it with 3, what you will get? Right. So shape was maintained, the maximum value is made 1. So that is meant by normalizing. Are you clear with what is meant by normalizing a pattern? Normalizing a pattern is dividing a pattern with its maximum value. The shape will be retained. The shape is retained, only the maximum value is changing, right? So that is about say cos square theta pattern, and the cross section of this would be actually what? Sorry, I should not show this. Then again, I will just zoom to fit. Right, yeah. So this is a cos square theta pattern. So now we'll see what will be if I change here f of t, right? We'll try to see now cos theta times cos 2 theta pattern times cos 2 theta into cos 2t, right? Cos t times cos 2t. Just see what happened to the pattern. Right, now it is, right. So it is like this now, right? we have a main lobe and a side lobe, right? And you can see the side lobe is something like this, back lobe, right? And if you take a cross section of this along, say, along ZY plane, so what will be the cross section? The cross section will look something like this. I will show it in the other plane. How the cross section will look like. I'll plot the cross section in the other plane. I can write R is equal to cos. Say, okay, I should take R is equal to cos theta times cos 2 theta if I type times cos 2 theta, right? So I'm just showing the cross section in the other plane. That's it, right? So please don't get confused, right? If you take a cross section of this, it will look something like that. Okay, I should further zoom it to fit, right? The cross section taken along actually what YZ plane, it will be looking something like this, right? But actual pattern you see, right? Oh, please keep in mind, I have, for you to see this clearly, I have plotted it in an orthogonal plane. That's it, right? The cross section will be in same plane only, right? So that's actually what cos theta and cos 2t. And now you can see this is again main symmetric. So only one cut would be sufficient. If you take one cut, whatever you are getting, that will be actually what principal plane pattern, right? So I think this gave you some idea. Maybe for other field patterns, you can try out on your own, right? You can try out on your own. I have given you the syntax, right? With that syntax, I just request you to try out. And do you want to see any other pattern? Anyone else? Right. If you just, you can type in any other pattern if you want to see as a function of theta only. Right. We'll see what is cos 3 theta. How cos 3 theta pattern will look like. Right. Cos 3t we'll see. How cos 3t pattern will look like. Are you seeing it? How it looks like? One second. Maybe I should, right. I should zoom it to fit. See how this cos 3t pattern, 3 theta pattern, you can see there is one. And if you take, so this is right for this, right, the cross, there will be one main lobe and actually what, two side beams, right? It's actually in fact, right? So maybe I just leave it, leave for you to think, right, how different cross section will look like, right? So what I'll do is I'll try to include one such question in your assignment. This assignment I'll give by the end of this week, right? So one such question I'll take. I'll give some actually what, a field pattern, and I will ask you to find the principal plane patterns. You can use GeoGebra, right? So and cos 3t or cos 3t into cos t, how it will look like. You can see it has many lobes, right? You can see it has many lobes. It's something like what we have seen. Are you able to see the pattern? Right? Are you able to appreciate it? Right? So it has, say, main lobes, maximum radiation along plus and minus z, and there are two side lobes, right? And similarly, if you increase it to cos 5t, cos t, you'll see what happens. Right? More and more side lobes are forming, right? So this is the pattern which I shown initially, right? As an example, is some pattern like this. It's actually what, some pattern like this. I hope all of you are able to see this and appreciate, right? So that's it, right? I just want you to. So basically, if you have a pattern like this, or maybe I'll again go back to say cos square theta, right? I'll again go back to cos square theta pattern, right? Cos square t pattern, right? And what is the information you are getting? If you keep an antenna at origin, right? If you keep an antenna at origin, it radiates maximum in positive Z and negative Z, right? So if you have to keep a receiver, right, you should keep either along positive Z or negative Z. If you place along actually what, plus X or plus Y or minus Y anywhere, it won't be able to receive, you won't be able to receive the radiation. It gives a directional property of an antenna. So that is actually what radiation pattern. It's nothing but what, radiation properties as a function of field strength or power as a function of theta and phi, right? And how are we getting this? How are we measuring this? We are keeping antenna at origin, and at all points at equidistant, at same distance, say distance r from the antenna, we are measuring field strength, or at all points with at all possible theta and phi at each and every point on a sphere. That is, for all possible combinations of theta and phi, we are noting down what is the field intensity or power, and we are plotting it, right? And normalized pattern means maximum will be 1, right? What you should do, if it is 3 cos square theta or 0.4 cos square theta, right? You just divide the field with the maximum value. If it is 3 cos square theta, the maximum value of field will be 3. You divide it with 3, so you will get cos square t. If it is 0.4 cos square theta, you divide it with 0.4. Once again, you will get actually what maximum to be equal to 1. So that is something which you have to be very clear about. Then only you will be able to appreciate the remaining part, right? So I think that's it, right? If now I would like to pause for say 1 minute, and I would like to hear if you have any doubts. Anyone has got any doubts? Was it helpful seeing this radiation pattern in GeoGebra? That please respond. Right. Radiation pattern in GeoGebra, did it give you some more insight? Right? Because if you don't know what is radiation pattern, then there is no point in discussing the remaining parts, right? And it's a request from my side. All of you, please try to simulate different patterns. So now we'll take only 2 examples, right? Furthermore, actually, when we study about gain and directivity and all those steps, we'll solve more examples. So at that time, I will not draw the radiation pattern. So I will assume you will be able to find it out through GeoGebra, right? So that's it. So that was your first agenda, and I think that is successfully completed. Then next part is solving the problem, right? One more problem on half power beamwidth, right? One more problem on half power beamwidth. So what was half power beamwidth actually? Suppose you have a radiation pattern like this, right? Suppose you have a radiation pattern like this. This is the maximum value, right? This is the maximum. If it is normalized, the maximum will be 1, right? And suppose these are the half power points. These are the half power points. The angular separation between half power points is actually what? Half power beam width. This angular separation is half power beam width, right? And first null beam width actually what? Angular separation between first nulls. That is first null beam width. And we have even seen first null beam width by 2. This is actually what? FNBW by 2 is nothing but resolution, right? Why? Because this antenna can differentiate between a satellite kept at this position and at this position, right? It can differentiate. If another satellite is falling within this, right, both signals will get mixed up, right? So those things I have told. So half power beam width is angular separation between half power points. If it is field pattern, normalized field pattern, half power point will correspond to actually what? The 1 by root 2 points. If it is normalized power pattern, half power point will correspond to 1 by 2. That's it. So our question is, given E of theta is equal to cos theta times cos 2 theta. This is cos, right? Cos 2 theta. You have to find half power beam width and first null beam width, right? Half power beam width and first null beam width, right? So for that, right, what we should do to find half power beam width, you should remember at this is a field pattern, right? And you see the maximum value is 1, so this is a normalized pattern, right? So if maximum value is 1 at half power points, E of theta should be equal to 1 by root 2. So what I should do is I should find this theta, right? This theta, right? And if I find this theta, that twice of that theta will be half power beam width, right? So that for that what I should do is I should equate cos theta times cos 2 theta is equal to 1 by root 2, right? So what you can do is you can either use calculator directly, right? So this is the equation you have to solve for theta, right? Now you have to solve for theta. Solve for theta, right? You can directly use calculator and solve for theta. That is one method, right? Otherwise, we can do it actually using some iterative method as well, right? Using some iterative method as well. So can anyone try to solve for theta using this? Maybe there is only one variable, right? Only one variable, x. It is cos x into cos 2x is equal to 1 by root 2. What is the value of x? Right? Can anyone try to find out that? Please try to find out that. Right? I'm waiting. Using calculator, solve for theta. Cos theta into cos 2 theta is equal to 1 by root 2. What was theta? Please, I'll give you some time. Yeah, I'll just be here. Using calculator, can we solve? That is the first question. Can we solve it using calculator? If you can solve it, solve for theta using calculator. Right. If you can't solve, right, mostly you will be able to solve. If you can't solve, we have an iterative method. Right. So meanwhile you solve that, I'll just write that iterative method. So this I can rearrange and write cos 2 theta is equal to 1 by root 2 cos theta, and I can write 2 theta is equal to, or theta is equal to half times cos inverse of 1 by root 2 cos theta. Right? Did anyone get the answer for theta? This is another method, right? Another method which I am discussing. Did anyone get the answer? Yeah, Shreyas, if you can solve, what is the value of theta? Okay, okay, fine. Yeah. Right. So meanwhile, I'll just right. I don't want to waste time. Right. So I'll just write it down here. What is the alternate method? Right. So this theta. Right. First, what I should do. So I have this. Right. One equation I have. This is LHS and this is RHS. What I should see is iteratively see is for what value of theta LHS becomes equal to RHS. Right. So initially I'll start by substituting theta equal to 0. Right. Initially I'll substitute theta equal to 0 LHS. So what will be the corresponding RHS? RHS will be cos inverse of 1 by root 2. What will be RHS for this? I think the RHS will be equal to 22.5 degree. Right, cos inverse of half of cos inverse of 1 by root 2. Right. For theta equal to 0, the RHS will be 22.5 degree. Right, theta equal to 0 degree. RHS is, if you substitute here, right, so LHS is not equal to RHS. Then what I do is whatever I am getting here, I'll put. Right. So next I put theta equal to 22.5 degree. Right. So then the corresponding RHS will be, right, if you put 22.5 degree, what will be the right hand side? What is half of cos inverse of 1 by root 2 cos theta for theta equal to 22.5 degree? Can anyone tell me that? You are taking this much time to solve, right? If you are not in 20.03 is the final answer, right? Or no, for the Shreyas, can you unmute and tell? For 20.03? Okay, now this is not final. Okay, this is when, okay, I understood, right? So when theta equal to 22.5 degree, the RHS is 20.03 degree. So this is again not actually what equal. LHS is not equal to RHS. Next, what I'll do is I'll substitute LHS theta equal to 20.03. So now from this, what I'm getting to know is the theta will be somewhere in between 22.5 and 20.03. It will be in between. So next time substituting what 20.03, right? Next time substituting 20.03, then what will be the right hand side? That is half cos inverse of 1 by root 2 cos theta. Please unmute and tell.
20.59, sir.
20.59, right? So 20.59. So once again I am writing 20.03. It will be 20.59, right? So again, it's not actually exactly matching. It will be somewhere in between 20.03 and 20.59. So it's more narrowed down. Next you right. Next you substitute theta equal to 20.59 and find RHS. Right.
20.47.
Right. So like that you right. So 20 point it's right. So almost for 20.47 degree, what happens? It will be Satisfied, right? Almost. At least correct to 2 decimal places.
20.49, sir. For
20.49. So, okay.
20.47.
So you can approximate equal to actually what 20.5, right? For 20.5 degree, right? The what
Sir,
happens? LHS
49,
become
it's hitting.
20.49. Okay, yeah. Or approximately I'm taking 20.5. Right, at least correct to 1 decimal place if it is correct, right? So for this value, that equation is satisfied. So that is actually theta. So theta means, right, this theta half per, I'll take another color ink, right? So this angle, right? This angle is theta. That theta is say 20.47 or 20.49 degree, right? So what will be half power beam width? Half power beam width will be twice that. On both sides we have, right? So separation between the half power points, that will be twice theta, right? Half power beam width will be 2 times theta. So that will be 2 times 20.49. That will be approximately equal to 41 degree. That will be approximately equal to 41 degree. Right. So is it clear? Should I repeat it? But those who have solved using calculator, can you give answer? Shreyas, you told you were trying to solve using calculator. Did you get an answer, Shreyas? What was the final answer? Is it somewhere near to what we got? Iterative, using iterative method. Can you type in? You got the final answer as 20.3. 20. Shreyas, can you type in the final answer? 20 points. Is it 20.49 or 20.03? Using calci, what you got? 20.47. Yeah. So using calculator, if you can find, you find using calculator. You don't have to do this iterative method. Right. If calculator is not allowed, right, then you will have to do this. Right. So the half power beam width is twice that. So we got that. Half power beam width is twice that. So we got what is half power beam width. Right. So next is we need to find out what is first null beam width. Right. First null beam width. You can see, right. I want you to solve this. Right. So the function is cos theta into cos 2 theta, right? Cos theta into cos 2 theta. For which value of theta, this will be equal to 0. First null beam width means at first null beam width, right, at first null, E of theta equal to actually what? E of theta will be equal to 0, right? So for some angle, it's becoming 0, and for some other angle, it's becoming 0. For which angle, this function will become 0 for the first time? Cos theta into cos 2 theta, right? When can you just type in for which value of theta, cos theta into cos 2 theta will become 0 for the first time?
For 90.
90, no, not 90 degree. What about 45 degree? You see, when cos 90 is 0, of course, but when theta is 45 degree, 2 theta will become actually what? When theta is 45 degree, 2
Yes,
theta
sir.
will
Yes,
become
sir.
90 degree. So at 45 degree, right? At 45 degree, this function will go to 0 first on either side. On this side, 45 degree, right? And on this side, 45 degree, right? As there is a 2 theta, right? Or if it was only theta, it would have been 90, right? So at 45 degree, it goes to 0, right? So first null beam width will be actually what? 2 into 45 degree. In exam, how you should write is, right, at first null beam width point, cos theta times cos 2 theta is equal to 0, which implies theta equal to actually first point, first null, right? Second null will come at actually what? When theta equal to 90 degree, there will be another null, right? So first null happens at theta equal to plus or minus 45 degree, right? First null happens at theta equal to plus or minus 45 degree. So F and BW is equal to 2 times 45 degree. I'm not writing detailed steps and all, but I'm expecting you to write. If you have any doubt, please ask. Right. So what you should write is at half power points, E theta is 1 by root 2. So theta is this. And at first null, right, first null, this cos theta into cos 2 theta will be 0. So theta should be equal to this. And first null beam width is twice that. And if resolution is asked, resolution of this is actually what? 45 degree. Resolution of this antenna will be equal to 45 degree, which means this antenna can differentiate two satellites which are separated at 45-degree angle. Right. This antenna can differentiate two satellites or two transmitters or two receivers which are at 45-degree apart, as seen by the antenna. Right. Any doubt in this? So whichever be, if it is sine square theta or cos square theta or sine 3 theta, cos 4 theta, whatever it may be, right? The idea is the same. And one more thing which you have to keep in mind is, if it is field pattern, right? This is a crucial thing, right? This is where you will make mistake. If it is field pattern, right, you should equate it to 1 by root 2 or Emax by root 2. If it is normalized 1 by root 2 or it is simple field pattern, Emax by root 2. If it is normalized 1 by 2, if it is normalized power pattern, it is 1 by 2, or else it will be Pmax by 2, right? So this is where you may make mistake, right? So here E theta is given. Instead of this, if it was P of theta or S of theta, then you would have equated it to, instead of 1 by root 2, you would have equated it to 1 by 2, right? So that is the only difference. That is a twist which is possible, right? Is it clear? Right. So, okay, you just correct to one decimal place. If Shreyas, I can see, right, 20.49 is the final iteration, right, after substituting 20.47. Okay, fine. So, what you can do is at least correct to one decimal place if you write. Correct to one decimal place, that is why 20.5 you can write. Right, if you round it up, right. So, I hope that is clear. Right, yeah. So, that's it about this problem. Should we solve more? Can you find out, right? Can you find out the answer? I'm not going to actually what the concept of solid angle. I wanted to start with the concept of solid angle, but today we are not starting. Right? We are not rushing through. Right? I want you to solve this problem. Given P of theta or S of theta is equal to sine square theta, you have to find half power beam width and first null beam width. Right, or it can be sine theta times sine 3 theta, right? Whatever, right? You can solve all these things, right? P of theta. How you will find half power beam width? It's simple. You have to write at half power points. P of theta is equal to, so this is maximum is 1. So it should be equal to 1 by 2 or 1 by root 2. 1 by 2. So you have to equate, right? Sine square theta is equal to 1 by 2, and which implies sine theta is equal to actually what? 1 by root 2, and theta is actually what? Plus or minus sine inverse of 1 by root 2. Right. So that will be plus or minus 45 degree, right? Plus or minus 45 degree. So half power beam width is root theta, that is 90 degree, right? And what will be first null beam width? Yeah, should I? Maybe I should zoom it out a bit so that you can see more. Is it visible now? Whatever I've written, entire thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I hope so. Right. So then, to find first null beam width, right, at nulls, P of theta should be equal to 0. At nulls, P of theta should be equal to 0, right? And that is sine square theta equal to 0, which implies sine theta equal to 0, right? Which implies sine theta equal to 0, right? Which implies theta is equal to plus or first null will happen at 0, comma pi, right? Nulls will happen at 0, comma pi. So this pattern will be something like this. Sine theta pattern will be, sine square theta pattern will be something like this. This is say so yeah, theta equal to 90 degree, right? This is 0, 90, oh, sorry, 0, 90, 180, right, like that, right? So null will happen at 0 degree and 180 degree. So beam width between nulls is actually what, this much. So it is equal to actually what, twice 90 degrees, right? So it happened plus 9. Sorry, it's sorry, I while drawing I made some mistake, right? So sine square theta is, so it is 0, right? It happens at 0 and 180, right? It happens at 0 and 180. So the beam width will be actually what, 180 degree. So first null beam width will be Fn, BW will be 180 degree. So just maybe this is theta equal to 0, 90, 180, right? So sine square theta pattern will be something like this. Again, what I told is correct, right? Sine square theta pattern is something like this, right? And null will happen at actually what, theta equal to 0. First null happens at theta equal to 0. So you can't actually what, take 2 into theta there, right? You can't take 2 into theta there, right? First null happens at theta equal to 0 and also at theta equal to 180 degree, right? These two are nulls. So the separation between these two is what you have to see, right? Here you can't write 2 theta like that, right? So please be clear with the concept, right? Here if you write 2 theta again, you will get 0. That will be wrong answer, right? So it should be, the nulls will happen at, you should understand, at 0 and 180 degree. So the beam width between nulls is 180 degree, right? Beam width between nulls is 180 degree. But it was, if it was cos square theta, right, we got theta equal to 90 degree and all those steps. So it was straightforward. But in this case, right, I hope you understood, right? I think our time is up, right? I'll wind up the class here, right? I'll wind up the class here. So these are the types of example, which types of problems which you can get from here. In tomorrow's session, we'll start with the concept of beam area, beam solid angle, and all those stuff, right? So thank you so much, right? So you can leave the mail. One more request which was there in feedback was, please start and end the class on time, right? Please start and end the class. I'll try to write. It's a valid request. I'll try to do that. That's it. If any doubt, if anyone wants to stay back, can stay back. If for any doubt, otherwise you can leave. Thank you so much. And I would be happy if you can type in from now, from the next class onwards. If you can type in, if there is any point which is not clear, if you can type in chat window, right? I would be happy. Not now. Maybe from next class we'll practice that. Right. That's it. We'll wind up the class today. Thank you. All of you can leave.